I first was interested in film scoring from the spaghetti westerns of Ennio Morricone and Sergio Leone collaboration. When I went to study music, it was not for film, it was more for concert music, but I moved to California and had an opportunity to study with Jerry Goldsmith, and that's where I really learned about film scoring and thought about, for being innovative in music, that music was music, that it wasn't just film music and concert music and pop music. It was all, film had the opportunity to combine the best of all worlds. I think it has the potential to be the worst also, but it has the potential to be the best. And I went with that spirit of optimism into film scoring. Jerry was extremely important for my development as a composer. The thing about Jerry is that he was the most economical composer, I think. He would reduce his musical ideas to the simplest form, and coming from more of a concert music background, where ideas are often pushed to be complex, there's a sense of complexity. It was really refreshing to study with him and to learn his method. When I was asked to do The Omen, it was at the same time very exhilarating and a little apprehensive also. I knew that Jerry had received his only Oscar for that score, and I felt it important to somehow do an homage to him. And his entire score, I think, for that movie can be reduced to 3 notes. So I said, well, how would I do an homage to him? I don't want to copy his themes or anything, but maybe I can approach it in the same way. So I said, well, I'll do it also, it's a few notes. I managed to bass plan on 4 notes, so it wasn't quite as good as Jerry. But yeah, it was tremendous. I felt his presence. The music and the sound must work together in the film. When I first started out doing film music, the sound department was my enemy because we're always competing for the same space. But as I get older and wiser, I find that it's not a competition, that we're working together, and actually I think it lends itself to more innovative scoring. I try to meet with the sound department early and find out what their ideas are for the sound of the picture, and sometimes I even ask for the sounds that they have, so I can incorporate them, manipulate sometimes, but incorporate them into the score. And I started doing this more and more. The Kurt Locker, I think, was an example of this. I think effectively worked. I've done some scores in the past, Die Hard scores, Terminator, and so forth, that have been part of sequels, and I like to do an homage, at least, to the past. Well, Scream, first of all, projects were mainly for directors I've worked in the past, so my relationship was with them. Scream, after the first movie, the palette was set, for the others. There was some variation, but for the most part, it was all based on the same thematic material. Terminator, the request was that I do something completely new. The director didn't want to. He wanted to make a new movie. He didn't want me to incorporate music from past movies. So, you know, all I did at the end was, for the end of the movie, I did a homage to the Brad Fiedel score. But for the most part, it was a standalone score. Horror movies are funny.
You don't like?
I don't look. I'm scared of horror movies. But it turned out that the first movie I had done had success with the horror movie, and that led to other horror movies. I don't think so much about the style or the type of movie. It's more what I can contribute if I have ideas when I see it. That's more important to me than the actual style. So, you know, if there's good horror movies, yes, I'm interested. But you know, the one thing that I found that I look at my career, I've only done one romantic comedy, and I can't say that bothers me. That's one of my favorite scores. Unfortunately, the movie is not. I mean, you have the cover, the CD, and unfortunately, it's not that well known. I think, especially outside of Europe. But it was working with Ola. It was a rare opportunity to explore musically. He was very encouraging to try different things, and I had a lot of fun working on that movie. It was one of my favorites. The first thing that I remember was meeting Bertrand probably a year before he even started shooting, and talking to him about it, and being overwhelmed with not just his enthusiasm for the project, but with his knowledge of film and music in general. He knows more than anybody else I know. And we started a collaborative dialogue and experience even before he started shooting. And it was very inspirational to go down to Louisiana where he was shooting and spend time researching the music of the bayou and the swamp and the Cajun culture to incorporate into the score. And I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to work with him. I'm very excited about this score. It's a very different score for me. It's a hybrid of manipulated sounds and orchestral stuff, but I'll say it's again, talking about the sound, the jaws of the zombie are a very important part of, they're very visual and very prominent, and so one of the things I've done is taken the actual jaws of, there's a wild pig that lives in the southwest of the United States, and they communicate with their jaws. So I got their skull and we created rhythmical patterns out of the teeth. And so, you know, things like that are very fun for me to do.